everyone, it's Shel from Paper Octio Studio, and today I'm sharing with you the mini canvas number 3 out of 6. Remember, I'm going to have a 6,000 subscriber giveaway when I finish these 6 canvases, at which point I will post a video where you can leave comments, and then of all the people who comment, I will pick 6 people to win, and I will send them these 6 canvases. So this is number 3, so I still have 3 more to go. I decided to do florals, just do some bright, simple florals with some paint and collage. Who doesn't like florals? I mean, everyone likes that. So I thought it would be bright and cheerful. I picked some very primary colors, bright colors, nothing sad about this one. This is a happy canvas, and I think whoever wins it will be happy when they look at it. So I decided to use Decoart's media lined fluid acrylics. This is a fluid acrylic that has extremely lots of amounts of pigment in it. It's bright colors, and not a lot of translucency except for in the case where it's already a translucent color like the yellow. Nice paint. You don't have to thin it with water. You just go right for it with the brush. And I'm using one of the brushes that the Art Sherpa Cinnamon Cooney used to recommend. They're the Simply Simmons bright brushes, and I got them from the Brush Guys, I think. Inexpensive acrylic brushes that I haven't used that much because I don't do a lot of acrylic painting, but I decided to start out this project with acrylic painting. So the first thing I did was draw a few lines on my canvas using a pencil, just to give an idea of layout for myself so that I wouldn't go completely crazy, which I ended up going completely crazy anyway, but that's just the nature of what I do. But I did draw it out in advance, and I didn't really change the layout. I think it's pretty balanced, but I ended up making it a lot more detailed than I expected to. I thought I was going to paint, and then I was going to collage, and then I ended up just having so much fun and getting into it so much that I just kept going. So I like the way it turned out. I'm still arguing with myself whether or not I should add some glitter glue over the some of it to make it sparkly. I haven't decided yet. So at this point, I hadn't decided whether was gonna do that or not, but I'll get there eventually and I'll decide. So I have this sitting up on a shelf in my studio with the other 2, and they're looking lovely. I'm happy to be doing this this way this time. All the other drawings that I've had previously, I've made custom art for the people who won, and it's a bit stressful for me for some reason. I think I just am really worried they're not going to like it, or I'm not going to make something that is what they wanted based on their 5 questions. It's hard. So these are going to be done in advance, and then I can just send them out to whoever wins, and hopefully they like them, and if they don't, well, there's not much I can do about that. This is a lot more relaxing than the other way was, although everyone seemed to be really positive about doing it that way, and it was different than everyone else's drawings, but I don't know. I'm liking this. I can just go in my studio and play with whatever media I feel like playing with that day, make what I want, what I'm feeling that day, and I think it turns out really a lot more my art, if that makes sense. So once I was done with a little bit of acrylic painting to get some color on there, I decided to do some collage because, of course, I'm going to do collage. I mean, this is me here. I'm going to do collage. So I just got out some of my color boxes. These are plastic boxes that mini cinnamon rolls come in that my mom likes, and she saves the boxes for me, and then I sort my scraps by color into these boxes, and they actually look really nice up on the shelf. There's like all these pretty colors. I do have a lot of scraps that I need to go through and tear up and sort into my boxes, and I might need a few more boxes because I haven't organized them in a while. But now that I'm moving my studio and all that, I will be getting to that project on top of sorting out all my stamps, figuring out where I want all my stuff. You know, it's still a process, but of course, it's not going to be done until past the end of the month sometime, and then I'll do a studio tour at that point when I get it all finished and get art up on the walls and everything. So once I picked a few different types of papers, I tore them into circles and into leaf shapes, and now I'm attaching them to my canvas using Liquitex Gel Matte Medium. This is the thicker one. I have different thicknesses of paper here. I've got some deli paper and some tissue paper, and then also some, I don't know, probably text weight maybe, and then there might even be one piece of cardstock. So I'm using a thicker glue to make sure that everything sticks down well. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I hope you guys are liking the new camera setup. At the beginning of this video, you probably saw me zoom it in and then zoom it in again. So everything is really close and probably pretty big on your screen, even though it's a 6x6. When I was filming before, it would have been further away. But that does, I need to pay more attention, especially when it's zoomed in this much, not to move the canvas out of the screen too much. You know, when I pick it up and do the sides, it's going to be out of the screen, but at some point I do think I move it down too far, close to myself, and then it's a little bit off the screen. It's just something that you have to pay attention to. For those of you who don't make videos, there's so much going on. There's a lot more behind the scenes than you think, and mine are simple in comparison to some of the people who have the software that does all the fancy things, and they've got picture inside picture, and they've got graphics, and you know, mine are very simple in comparison. And I've really realized when I was trying to come up with the right type of software to use, when I was having so many problems with everything cutting off and not recording, that there is some software out there that's like way complicated, and people are using that and doing beautiful things with it. So I think I'm just going to keep mine simple. I don't really feel like learning a bunch of stuff that's probably not needed for my type of videos. I feel like I'm losing my voice. It's weird. Like I'm straining to speak. Maybe that's because I was at the Metallica concert and I sang and sang and sang as loud as I could. It was a concert week this week. First Matchbox 20 and then Metallica the next night. So that's probably why my voice feels a little bit strained. So once I put a few different pieces of paper in the different leaves and inside the flower shapes, then I added a few that had patterns, interesting patterns to the background as well, just to give it more visual interest. It was a little bit boring, I thought. I didn't add a whole lot. I didn't fill in the whole background, but I did add a few little pieces here and there just because I felt like it and I liked it. I'm also going to add in a bunch of little tiny pieces that are supposed to represent kind of a flower that would be built up of multiple petals in a cone shaped, like maybe a lilac or something like that. I have drawn circles on there for where they're supposed to go, and I haven't done that yet, but I'll be doing it soon. I had to tear up a lot of little teeny tiny pieces. Also, most of the tearing process is off the screen because I have this zoomed in so much, and I did not remember that it was zoomed in. So then, you know, I've got it partially off the screen, and I wasn't looking, but I promise I will get better at this, keeping all these things in my head when I'm trying to create something and I'm having fun and I'm in the moment with the art, but then I have to look at the screen to make sure that I'm on the screen and does it need to be zoomed in? Is the color right and is the light right? And it's just, there's just a lot going on. I guess that's why people have producers when they get to have, millions of subscribers, they start having a producer to help them with all those things. I don't think I'll ever be there, but so lots of little teeny tiny pieces. Trying to create movement from one side to the other. So these little ones are over here, and then your eye travels to the right side to see those little ones. That's kind of the idea. And then I have a few little ones at the bottom as well to create a visual triangle. Not thinking about it that hard, but just the idea of your eye moving around the canvas is, always good. So once I was happy with all my collage, I gave it a good dry and then went back in with paint again, deepening up a lot of the areas. And those two big flowers, I keep changing the color. I can't decide, do I want it red? Do I want it orange? I want it to be that the two in the middle are the ones that should stand out. So trying to decide on a color that makes them stand out, I guess. They are the biggest ones, so they should be the ones you see first, and then everything else kind of fades into the background as in supporting roles of the two main actors. Or an actor and actress, maybe. I'm not sure. And then I'm like darkening up the background a little bit in some areas to make it more dynamic. It was very pastel, and so I wanted more variation of color across. I did make it 3 different colors. It was like kind of pink, teal, and purple pastel versions, and then kind of darkening them up a little bit and correcting any shapes that I think should be more rounded. When I was tearing the paper, I didn't get them quite round enough. I remembered that I actually really enjoy acrylic painting. I don't know why I don't do it more. I mean, I do parts of acrylic painting, but this is really almost completely acrylic painting with just a little bit of collage added to it. Because I love collage. It's my #1 bestie. But with simple shapes like this, it's fun to make nice bright colors and blend some paints, and these paints are so fluid that it's easy to do, and it's just, I enjoy it. I'll be sure to link the colors that I used of the Decoart Fluid Media line, description box below with links, and I'll link you to the brushes too, if I can find them again. Cinnamon has different brushes now, so I'm not sure if she's still recommending these Simply Simmons, but she used to, and that's why I bought them, because I thought maybe I would do some acrylic painting, big canvases or something, but then never really got into it. So now I have a bamboo skewer that is like a multi-use tool that I have on my desk. I use it to poke open the glue and paints when they're, dried shut and things like that. And I don't know, this and that, but at the end of it is a flat round circle, a small circle. So it makes great little dots. It makes a great dotting tool. So I'm using some titanium white paint, which is a very opaque white paint in this brand, and making little dots, filling up the background with little dots because they were fun and I was enjoying it. In fact, I was enjoying it so much that I did it with other colors. So then I have a couple fine liner bottles. These are the 20 gauge very fine applicator tips, and then they have lids that have little needles that go down inside so they don't get clogged. Pretty fun. I have carbon black and titanium white paint in the bottles, and it's been thinned down with a teeny tiny bit of water, and it was already fluid paint when I put it in there. So they're fun for adding details, you know, black and white. Those are really the only two colors that I need. I don't have any other colors in the little bottles, although I have two empty bottles, so if I wanted to make a couple more in other colors, I could. So I draw around with some black fine lines, and then I decided to go back in with more colors of dots. The dioxazine purple and the cobalt teal, and then up at the top I had the cad red hue. And I think that makes it look more dynamic than just having the white dots. And it's fun. It's fun making dots. This is a very dotty canvas. Lots of dots, dots everywhere. I put some on the flowers. I put some in the centers of flowers, all over. Then I come in with the white fine liner bottle and add some dashes and dots and squiggles and things to add, I guess, highlights, kind of highlights. That makes tiny dots, little tiny dots, because the tip is so small. It's the 20 gauge. I don't know if I said that. They have different gauges of nozzles on these, and so I have to remember that they are the 20 gauge. And strangely, in things like that and also wire, the bigger the number, the smaller it is. So an 18 gauge would be a larger nozzle, and the 16 would be even bigger. That's the same way with wire. When you're trying to figure out, when you're doing wire wrapping and jewelry, and you're like, what size wire do I need? Yeah, you would think it would be the opposite, but it's not. You'd think you bigger number would mean bigger wire, but it's actually the opposite. It's kind of weird. So then I decided I'm going to put a word on there, and I have these chipboard stickers that are just a craft color and ready for, you know, painting. So I decided to use the cad red paint that's left on my palette to paint them. The word is bloom, which to me means a lot of things. It means grow, it means prosper, it means come out of your shell. Express yourself more. It's a word that to me has a lot of meaning. So, and of course it's flowers on the canvas. So I thought that was appropriate. And I kind of wanted something down in this lower left-hand side. So they didn't want to stick very much. I had a lot of trouble getting them to stick down. I peeled the backs, but then the sticker part isn't very sticky, so then I put matte gel medium, and then they kept sticking to my fingers when I would try to put them down, and I was trying to make it straight, so this was a little bit more fussy than I expected. But if you're enjoying this video, please remember to give me a thumbs up and to leave a comment, and you know, I'll respond. I respond to all the comments. And share if you want to, subscribe if you haven't. There I'm using a straight edge to try to get them all straight. Kind of pushing them to make them straight. And then I finally figure out that what I need is like a wet towel to press them down so that it won't stick to it, and then I can get them like all pressed firmly down. So that's what I ended up with. I still might put some glitter on those letters and maybe on a few of the dots in the center. I'm not sure. But that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.